Hello everyone, welcome back. Hope things are going well. And today we're going to revisit the parts ordering application for the last time. Today we're going to implement the user form concepts we've covered in the previous lectures to further enhance the application to make it as user-friendly as possible. When we last visited this part ordering application, we had this version of it where we had a list box that we would click on. When we pressed it, it would pop up an input box. We would type in a size and a quantity, and they would work out the price. But please, we can do a lot better than that, and that's what we're going to do today to finish up this unit on user forms. Okay, here's our last version, and obviously you can tell right off the bat the big difference is it's going to be a menu-driven workbook, and we're going to incorporate things like user forms, custom-made user forms. So you're going to see a much more user-friendly application by far. Let's go through a simple, quick example. I'll type in customer Sam. He wants a particular part number, a size. We'll have that horizontal slider for the quantity. We press OK, and we've worked out a bill. Let's view the bill. There's the bill now for Sam. We could print it if we want. OK, and then we return to the main menu. We can also update our prices. This is a different custom-made user form, okay, slightly different than the one we just saw. Still allows you to access part numbers, you pick a size, and you type in a new price. Okay, so 505, medium, 788. Okay, and I guess we could cheat and look in here. 505, medium, 788. But we don't really want the user to see this, okay? This is all going to be hidden from them now with our beautiful little interface. And of course, we've got a save button and the exit. So nicely incorporating all the different ideas now to make it as professional looking as possible. Let's take a look at some of the code. First thing, let's jog your memory about lookups. So this is the table we've used multiple times now. We've got lookups for the part number and sizes, and then we use an index to get the number from the table. We also have a price modification scrap area, so to speak. And here is some of the numbers and lists that we have to use to do some of that updating. Okay, in the entry, we feed after we get these numbers and words and quantities. We feed all that information into this formula, so the formula is right in the cell. It does an index, which has two embedded lookup tables, and then we get our final price. And then we can obviously print and return to the main menu. Now that's kind of a quick recap of some of the stuff we did before this. Now let's look at the actual coding for the new material that we've been working on. All right, the first couple of commands are pretty straightforward. Save, nothing special there. We point to the workbook. Okay, so we create an object and make it point to that particular workbook name. And then this is how you do a save as. Exit command's pretty straightforward too. Just simply application quit. We're jumping in level of complexity. Next we'll go to view bill. Okay, in the view bill, pretty straightforward. We're going to just put ourselves on the entry page and activate. When we're on that page, and let's go there right now, we have the print command, and I'll go into design view. Actually, I'm probably going to have to unprotect it first. We'll double click on print. So print, basically you create an object pointing to the worksheet, and in particular we'll point to the entry worksheet, and then we use a print preview. Fairly straightforward. And then that sheet also has a return button, and all we're doing there is activating the worksheet that goes back to the main. All right, it's time to look at these codes. So we're going to double click on enter data, and when we enter the data, we're going to make form data show up. We're also going to clear whatever happens to be in that particular user form. You may have noticed that when we did our last lecture, a lot of times the results from the previous use of the form were still in there. So now we're going to clean things up before we actually go in and put stuff in the form. So we'll wipe out the text for the name, we'll wipe out the value for the quantity along the horizontal scroll bar, we'll set it back to 0. The combo box, will make it point to 0, like the first one in the list, and same with the size. We'll make it point to the first one in the list. And you're going, well, the first one, shouldn't that be a 1? Well, actually, no. The first one on the list, when you program it, is actually 0. Now, to really appreciate that, why don't we actually run it one time just to show you how it actually works. So let me get out of design mode. So when I press this and I type in information, CC, and then 505, large, 3, I press OK, great. Now when I go back again, you notice that it's all back to nothing. That's been wiped out. The first one in the list is showing again. It's back to small. The horizontal scroll bar is back to 0. So that's what it's doing. It's resetting everything. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense now. It's a nice way to clear everything out. Now, why don't we actually look at that actual form now? Okay, so we're sneaking over here, form data. All right, there's our form, and I'll slide this over here. So on this sheet, the cancel button is pretty straightforward. When you press cancel, we're going to hide the form we're on, the data form, and put ourselves back on the main screen. Now, as you know from the last lecture, all the real important stuff happens in the click event. So we've got all kinds of things we have to remember: part numbers and quantities, part size, which is a word, and custom name is a word, so those are strings. We're going to have 2 worksheets, the entry one and the main, and then we're going to have those particular objects point to the right spots. Next, we take the protection off the worksheet because we got to put stuff in it, and we take the answers from the various controls. So the combo box for the part number, we take the quotes off of it and store it into the variable part number. Same with text quantity, we store that into quantity. From the list sizes, it's a word, so it doesn't have to have a val put on it. We store that into part size, and then your name, that's also a word, obviously, so we don't take the val of that and store it into customer name. Then we take all those 4 results and we put them directly on the sheet. And then we have a built-in formula on the sheet. We turn the protection back on, and then we hide this form, and we're back to the main form. Now, there is a little bit of programming going on with the controls themselves. Not everything happens with just the click event. So just to review your concepts from before, the horizontal scroll bar that's going back and forth, it's feeding its answer into a text box, okay? And we need to do it for the change event and the scroll event. And if you forget what I mean, when I run this and I slide this slider, see how the number is changing in here? Okay, it takes 2 sets of commands to do that. So putting ourselves back into the code, that's why we have these 2 sets of commands. As I slide the slider, it's feeding it into that text box just underneath it. The last thing is there's some stuff that gets filled in behind our backs, so to speak, when we enter this particular form. And here I hand coded all the codes for the items you can purchase. And here, that little command there, this index command, sets it to 0, which means put yourself on this first one. If you change that to a 1, you would automatically see this as the first one. Here we have the list box. Okay, that was a combo box. This is a list box which stores the sizes. And again, I've reset the index to 0 so it points to small when we start off. Okay, the last one is update prices. So let's double click on that. And again, you see a couple of things. First of all, you show that particular form, okay, which I've called FRM update. And I sort of wipe out all the previous answers if there are any there, okay? I reset the combo box index to 0, same with the list box, and I rub out the price. Now let's click on the form over here, form update. It's a little bit different than the last one. We don't need as much stuff. It's got a part number, a size, and a new price. And then, of course, OK and cancel. Cancel is easy. Again, we just hide this form and put ourselves back to the main menu. Let me slide down to the bottom. This is, again, initialize routine, where I fill up all the different part numbers and sizes. And lastly, double click on OK. And this is where all the dirty work happens. In this one, we're looking for 3 things: part number, which is a number; part size, a string; and the new price, you've written it there as a single. Single is like decimals. Okay, we've also had doubles. Singles are smaller decimals, double are larger decimals. Either one can work. Hopefully you haven't forgot this. What we're eventually going to do is create a table location. We're going to take a little bit of this, join it to a little bit of that, and create a cell location where we're going to go in and change the number. So we're going to declare a couple of objects. One of them points to the lookups worksheet, and another one points to main. We unprotect the cell, and now what we do is we feed what we've got in the combo box into this variable, which is going to be part number. Then we feed this into part size, and the new price, we're going to take the val of that. Now, when we accept this new price, we should do a little bit of error checking. So as long as you gave me a positive number, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, I will do the following. I will feed all that information you gave me, the part size, the part number, and I do end up taking the val after. So if I didn't take it there, I could take it there, no problem. And I do feed in the new price. And then we attach all those results into a sort of a master address, lookups, and then attach it to maybe a C and attach that to a 5. And then we take this new price and we feed it into that location in the table. Then we protect the cell and the whole worksheet actually, hide the update, and put ourselves back to the main sheet. Now, if this is not true, okay, so if this is true, we do all of that. If it isn't, we yell at the person and we do not do the rest of the update. So there you have it. I hope you're starting to see a systematic way that we're approaching these problems and you're getting your techniques down. It's really now up to you to maybe use this in your own business and apply it in some sort of application that's specific for your business. Now, we're going to give you one challenge to finish up the entire course in our last lecture. We're going to get you to create a sort of a budgeting program for your home or business. It's going to be kind of cool. It's going to incorporate all kinds of different ideas. It's quite an extensive project. I'll show it to you how I want it to work, and then we'll do a quick review after you've given it a try. Thanks for listening. Take care. We'll see you in the last lecture of the course coming up.